Historic content. Humans having such large impacts on our environment is not as old as some might assume. People have been making products in large quantities for as long as we have needed them. However, they were not doing nearly as much damage due to more primitive technology. More advanced technology only goes back to around the 1700s. Because of this, most of the historical impacts on the environment from material and chemical synthesis come from the Industrial Revolution that we are still feeling effects from in our environment today. In order to fully understand the reasons for these advancements in technology, we must look at the why they began in the first place. In the late 1700s, when people in England began to form cities, which grew ever denser each year, a new style of living came about, one that demanded more products to be made at a much faster rate. Thus, companies found ways to supply those products in mass quantities. Along with new ways of producing more product came the improvement in transportation that enabled companies to have even larger populations of people to sell goods to, further increasing their need to make more of their products. After knowing why, we must now look at the how it was that something so damaging to our environment was never stopped. This answer lies greatly on the political side of the industry of the time. Early in the Revolution in England, it was that only those who were members of Parliament had any sort of voice in politics, and because it was an exclusive and out-of-date system, corruption within it was common. Votes were sold to those willing to bribe the most people at the highest price, leading to an even smaller demographic of people who controlled policy within the state. With the Industrial Revolution, there came a new source of social and economic power, ownership of factories, and so began the slow change of the power among the people, starting with the Reform Bill of 1832, giving power to people who did not inherit a position of power from their family, but rather the status they reached through their own factories. Simply adding those in the middle class who were factory owners changed the voting demographic enormously, going from only 6% of the male population voting to 20%. Finally, we look at how the revolution was viewed in its time and how that view changed vastly over the years. In the time, the revolution seemed to be a solution to the problem of the overpopulation that came with people moving the ever-growing cities, enabling people to make new product to supply the growth cities were going through. However, with this new mass production, the idea of running out of materials that in the past we took for granted was awakened. Materials such as coal. People realized that we did not have enough fossil fuels to sustain this massive amount of growth, leading to predictions that there would be a peak and then a steady decline in the amount of fossil fuels available for industrial use. The decline in production started in the United States in 1971, meaning that we are still in this decline and will only fall farther if nothing is done about it. In conclusion, technology advancements have stemmed from the people gathering in one location, which has led to changes in people's social and economic standings. However, with such growth came inevitable harm to the environment that we're still struggling with today.
Hi, my name is Ayla Johnsen, and I will be talking about Part 2, the present. Many chemicals and materials during their production let off greenhouse gases. As the greenhouse gases emit from their productions, they cause climate change and global warming. Climate change and global warming affect the environment, which then affects animals and humans. In this essay, I will be explaining the effects happening today from the emissions of greenhouse gases from several materials we as humans use every day. Soil has always been important to the human race and other animals for the production of plants for food. Yet in today's world, the amount of good soil we have is decreasing, causing the carbon in the soil to emit into the air, oxidize, and become carbon dioxide. Today, just 3% of North America's tallgrass prairie remains. Its disappearance has had a dramatic impact on the landscape of the U.S., but a key consequence of that transformation has largely been overlooked: a massive loss of soil carbon into the atmosphere. The importance of soil carbon, how it is leached from the earth, and how the process can be reversed, is the subject of intensifying scientific investigation with important implications for the effort to slow the rapid rise of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. This affects humans and animals because without the soil, there is less food and more animals will and can go hungry. Productions of certain materials such as cement emit greenhouse gases that cause the environment harm. The cement industry is an energy enormous intensive and products many emissions, odors, and noise. The emissions from cement plants which cause greatest concern and which need to be dealt with are dust, carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and sulfur dioxide. The main environmental issues associated with cement production are consumptions of raw materials and energy used, as well as emissions to the air. These emissions cause global warming and climate change to rapidly for the worse. Cement manufacture contributes greenhouse gases directly through the production of carbon dioxide when calcium carbonate is heated. Another everyday material that causes greenhouse gases to be emitted are batteries. The chemical use to produce batteries causes the increase in the average temperature of the Earth's surface is caused by an increasing greenhouse gas effect. The manufacture and transportation of batteries emits exhaust and other pollutants into the atmosphere, thereby contributing to the greenhouse effect. Along with the production of cement, these emissions causes plants and animals to either die off or move to somewhere new. The exact combination and number of chemicals inside a battery vary with the type of battery, but the list includes lead, mercury, nickel, lithium, and electrolytes. When thrown into the household trash, batteries end up in landfills. Not only does it affect the immediate environment, the fact that we just throw batteries away, it affects other environments miles away. In conclusion, the emissions that are let off into the air should be of major importance to the human race. We need to find a way to make greenhouse gases emissions to be less than there is now, and hopefully one day completely gone. Once that happens, the environment should get better and climate change won't be as rapid as it is now.
Hi, my name is Kendra Fischer, and I'll be doing the future analysis of environmental implications of material and chemical synthesis in the industrial world. The unknown in the future will be greatly shaped by the industrial world and its progress. Environmental damage remains an issue that will need to be dealt with in the future. With the increased awareness of the disastrous implications that coincide with humanity's progress, the industrial future will require a paradigm shift as to the role of synthesized materials and chemicals. This shift will consist not only of an increased awareness of our impact, but also in more inventions to alleviate the damages formed by the industrial world. The future will require further advancements in the methods for recycling, remediation, and efficiency so as to ensure synthesis will not lead to further damages. There are various ways to decrease the impact of materials and chemicals produced, but we must be cautious that these creations are not simply postponing the issues. Systems such as the storage of mining waste for years have led to unintended implications, as is the case in the zombie mines in Canada. In order to avoid these errors in the future industrial progression, methods to recycle waste materials must be found. Research teams are considering this, studying recycling waste into cement-based materials. Smelter waste, for example, contains toxic chemicals and can be used in the synthesis of high compressive strength red mud cement-based material. Another team is testing using dam waste to form eco-cement, helping decrease the amount of waste produced by dams, while also introducing a new eco-cement synthesis technique that requires less energetic input. Through recycling methods, future material synthesis can help decrease the waste present. Beyond recycling, it is crucial to deal with the postponed destruction, using synthesis techniques to reverse their impact. Since the agricultural revolution, humans have had an increased impact on the land, relying heavily upon it for food and profit. The growing use of the land often led to a stripping of nutrients, and as the population continues to grow, these issues will worsen. Through chemical techniques, such as catalyzed carbon sequestration, it is possible to reintroduce nutrients in the soil. This topic is currently being researched in Italy, with the soil that has been degraded and lost many of its compounds necessary for crop health, using catalysts which can help to facilitate carbon sequestration within the soil to increase carbon retention. Additionally, organic materials were better retained, allowing the soil to better recover as it was used for agriculture. Chemical techniques will help to decrease the impacts of environmental degradation while introducing the profitability of agriculture. In the future, it will not only be necessary to explore how to fix the errors of the past, but also how to increase the efficiency of the future. One technology that will require increased efficiency in the future are batteries. With the growing interest in the battery-powered technology, batteries will need to become more adapted so as to allow for maximum efficiency in the systems. Current research is being performed to increase the storage of a battery by implementing redox-activated dual electrolyte, doubling their charge potential. The discovery will allow for the formation of batteries that do not contain the corrosive chemical sulfuric acid, while also decreasing their waste. By increasing the efficiency of technology surrounding us, the future industrial world will progress with greater capacity and decreased impact. It is improbable that the future will not have environmental impact, but it is reasonable to strive for an industrial world that is responsible and acts to decrease our carbon footprint. These advancements will benefit all of the world and the planet by increasing the efficiency of synthesis processes while decreasing their negative implications. While the past actions taken have been done more for profit than longevity, research and progress has already been made that should not be ignored. Whether by mitigating the impact of previous work or by increasing the efficiency of materials, the industrial world needs to play an active part in maintaining the delicate relationship between humanity and environment. Chemical and material synthesis have played a large role in not only the scientific revolution of the industrial world, but also can be seen to outline the impact of humanity on the world. With the current research into climate change and the disastrous impact humans are having on the planet, the industrial world must be willing to redefine itself in the future. This will require refocusing on the reasons for advancement and further consideration being given to the environmental impact of progress. Advancements such as those outlined in this section will lead to an industrial world to alleviating environmental implications of the past and decrease the damage of the future.